You don't have the answers,
Do
TJ.
you have the
You
answer?
don't have the answers.
Tony, do you have the
You
answer?
don't have the answers,
You don't have
TJ.
the answer
You
either.
don't have the answers.
Woo! Big up, everybody. Welcome back to TJ Warren TV. Welcome back to the 92nd episode of the American Idiot Show, featuring our returning champion, Aaron from Arsenal X-Rated. This guy, yes, you, my friend. How you doing, bro? And Dal, obviously fresh off, his exploits in the Keys, which, I'm just glad to see that you didn't drown. That's really.
Or get arrested?
Or arrested. Yeah, given the stories that you were telling me backstage, but we don't have to get into that.
Yeah, no. We ain't get into
that. But Aaron, how you doing, bro? You good?
Well, listen, yeah, I was wonderful, and then I was phenomenally wonderful when I got a message from Dazza and sent me the link, and then I remembered, buzzing, we're here, we're gonna do it today. I get to talk with TJ, talk with Dal, talk to his fine audience, and I'm looking forward to, man, talking to Arsenal. That's the least thing I look forward to, annoyingly, because they've been a little bit but I'm sure we're going to get into that, man. I'm looking forward to it, and again, man, it's an absolute pleasure to be invited on this. Very grateful.
Absolutely, bro. No, we're grateful to have you on, man. There's no realer Arsenal fan out there. Well, there are few on the tier that Aaron is on, in my opinion. So we're just happy. We're just happy to have you here, man.
Here we go.
I'm gonna stop pumping your tires now because people are gonna think I'm hitting on you. I am a married man. I'm married. You're married. Dal's married, but that doesn't really matter.
Right.
But Dal. How are you, man?
I'm good. I went from Florida from Sunday to Thursday and got home, and late night flight, a lot of air turbulence from Fort Worth, Texas to Portland, Oregon. Nice 5-hour flight, 5.5 hours or so. But other than that, was down there for a wedding, and actually on the wedding day, a friend that was with us turned 50 as well. So
nice.
It was quite an event from Sunday to Thursday. A lot of fun. But back in the saddle again, and I had to witness what I had to witness yesterday at 4:30 in the fucking morning, by the way. So, I got up at 4:15 in the morning to witness what we saw against Leicester City. Now, I don't know about you guys, but that was what they call luck. Lucky.
Tell me more.
So, anyway, but big up Mikel Merino. Can't complain. And I must admit, he buried him better than Havertz probably could. Havertz does not score those fucking goals.
Yeah.
Point blank. He does not score those goals. Right? So, with that being said, big up Mikel Merino doing the job that he was asked to do in the final 15 minutes he was in the game, I believe, 10 minutes. And to be honest, guys, I was in and out of that game. There were moments my eyes were dead closed and I was snoring at the top of my lungs and my voice was a little hoarse, right? So there's no leadership. There just simply is no leadership out on the pitch, guys. I just, going back,
we have a leader. He just disappears. Like he did it again against Leicester. Yeah, true.
Without the ability, you're not really a leader, right? So I think we're really in a limbo right now. I know we've won, I think 15, or we've been undefeated 15 straight in the league or something like that. Phenomenal, but none of it's convincing. None of it is convincing to where you. I took a nap today. Thank you before the show, Acers, but I appreciate your sincerity. It's bad, guys. It's just bad football, isn't it? And that was like leaders, Tony Adams. We know all the names, right? So I don't need to go over the names and so forth. But we don't. We have that like in Gabriel. But even then, was he really leading? I think he himself was sort of like, what the fuck are we doing? Right? I thought Declan Rice played really well. God, so much to cover.
Yeah, there's a lot to cover, but let's get, if I may, let's break this down into pieces just a little bit, because I want to talk about Raheem Sterling first, and then let's talk about the front line, and then work our way back. How about that? Sure. Raheem Sterling is probably one of the worst loan signings this club has ever put on.
Yep.
Ever. This
Probably
guy is
Colstrom.
finished. He's finished. He can't place the ball. He runs into defenders and loses the ball. I think he's had 2 assists in the Prem since he came on. You know, he had those 2 goals against Bolton, but other than that, he's been absolutely garbage. This guy cannot track a ball, cannot track a man, cannot hit the target, cannot do anything that a winger is supposed to do. This guy gets into the box and he starts doing the candy dance and he loses the ball. Like, this guy, he has zero composure now. Like, look, we all, Dow, it gets to a point, we all reach a point in our lives where we got to realize, you know, we can't do the things that we used to do. And Sterling, I think, has proven this season that he is at that point, and I think he's done playing top tier football. I really do. Like, this guy is absolutely garbage, and the fact that he's getting serious minutes at Arsenal now, and putting in this performance, he's going to get shipped back to Chelsea, and they're going to be like, "Yeah, we got to cut ties, we got to cut bait, or send him out on loan again." He's shit. He's absolute garbage. But what do you think?
Yeah.
What do you think of Sterling, Aaron?
Man, I mean, like I said, he signed off, and he was doomed from his incoming transfer sort of thing, wasn't it? Where he said, "You haven't seen the best of me." I mean, it was just all downhill from there, wasn't it? Because let's face it, we haven't seen anything of him, let alone the best. I think we all saw the best of Raheem Sterling about 3 or 4 years ago, and that's do you know what I mean? That's mad when you think he was 26 and he's 30 now, just turned 30. But as you said, there is just no way he can carry on at Europe's elite. I was saying this to my friend while I was watching the game. I said, all right, that's absolutely fine. Let's just say, you know, Sterling is sort of done in England. Where does he go from here? Because I know he goes back to Chelsea, but obviously Chelsea are going to want to get rid. So let's just run from there. Well, he doesn't get into any top half team in the Premier League. And I was just being generous. I didn't even think of the second half. Then you're thinking, all right, well, does he go to Europe? I was like, well, AC, Juventus, they ain't signing him. Go to Spain, no top tier club in there are signing him. France, PSG ain't going to want nowhere near of him. He's probably going to go to Saudi, isn't he? And that just
Probably
says everything you need to know that he's finished, because no one's going to want to pay anywhere near his wages. If he was worth his wages, then people would pay it, wouldn't they? But he is nowhere near it. Do you know what Dow as well said about one of our worst loan signings? And he mentioned the name Kim Kallstrom. At least Kim Kallstrom scored a semi-final penalty shootout winner against Wigan. At least he actually done something for us.
He's got a good memory, because I don't even remember that. I remember his back was crocked the moment we got him.
Yeah, absolutely was. But yeah, old Kimmy boy, he scored. He did manage to score himself a cheeky penalty at Wembley. And at least somewhat contributed. I mean, even Yaya Sanogo in that final actually contributed up front by giving the pass to Giroud to pass to Ramsey for the winner. I mean, he's one of the worst players I've ever seen at Arsenal. You're thinking, let's think Willian.
Terrible.
He's even worse than Willian.
I didn't even think that was possible. think that was possible.
You guys remember Dennis Suarez?
Dennis Suarez.
Oh, what a stinker.
You just mentioned the worst three, I think. Right, Raheem Sterling, Suarez. Yeah, that was brutal. And Willian, I remember watching Willian and literally like punching the air. Yeah, literally punching the air, because this guy could not do shit. And then he goes, to Fulham and he decides he wants to play football again. I can't fucking stand this guy. I really can't. Like, what is the deal with some of these wingers coming to Arsenal and just absolutely dying? Like, it's just. What?
It's the style of play that Arteta has
I don't know if it's a style of play. I think Raheem is shit.
Sterling. I'm not saying that. Yeah, you know what I'm saying, right? When you're saying wingers, right? So there are wingers that have failed, right, under Arteta's regime, and so who else do you blame? The manager. But the talent of Raheem Sterling is gone. Like, he doesn't have the body movement, the vision, of where and what to do with, specific important times on the pitch, right? I agree with Aaron. If he goes to Saudi, go for it. And Hugo makes a point, too, that he could come to the MLS, actually. And San Diego has an expansion team. Well, hey, San Diego has an expansion team. If he went to San Diego, he'd be making some pretty good coin to be their expansion team, their prime player. Was it TJ? Is it their... Don't they call them something special in the MLS?
The international, they just call them international slots.
The international slot.
What sort of wages would he get there?
He could get
American dollars.
big. They're paying Giroud and fucking Hugo Lloris a shitload to play out there at LAFC.
Yeah.
I'm going to look that up. How much is
Giroud
making?
I don't know, Aaron. Maybe 150,000 American dollars.
Oh wow! So yeah, so still good wage.
So yeah, and San Diego's beautiful, right? Southern California.
Because when I said to my mate, funny enough, about Saudi, when I was talking about Sterling, I sort of thought his career path would be probably go over there for 2 years, make a killing, and then go to America. Still earn good money, but
3.6 million. 3.6 million a year. Giroud is making at LAFC. Not bad.
Yeah, that's definitely
yeah, and then
money,
and then you have to live in Beverly Hills. Brutal. I'm sure. A guy with Giroud's face probably doesn't do too badly in Beverly Hills. I'm not gonna lie.
Absolutely not.
And LAFC is crazy too. That like their fans are nuts. I went out there in the summer and they were fucking nuts. But anyway, that's another talk for another day. But no, I agree. I think he's finished at the top tier. If he goes anywhere in Europe, I think it'll go to be like a Serie A team. He might fit the profile there a little bit better. But I think he's done.
You guys know the reason
Como,
we brought him.
Send him to Como with the rest of the region.
The Fabregas deal with him, or he can go fuck up to Lille or somewhere. But the thing is, the whole problem, right, of bringing him in the first place is, it was because Arteta just had a hand around his shoulder, right? Oh, I worked with you at City, so you'll fit right in, just like Jesus and Zinchenko, right?
Yeah.
Instead of going out and getting the talent, getting the players we need, and have to, explain to him the project. He just trusts Sterling to do what Sterling used to be able to do, and that the project doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter to Raheem Sterling. He knows he's going there alone. He knows he may go there for 1 year. So what is the real motivation that he has to even get us a trophy? Zero.
Yeah, you can see that, Dow, and you're bang on with what you say, mate, because there was plenty of times when I was watching him yesterday, and he could have tracked down some space, pressed a little bit, made a run, one of the dividing runs so someone else can make a forward run and lose their man. And he was just not interested. He half the time, I don't even think he was looking in the direction of the ball. You know what I mean? You could just tell without shadow of a doubt that man did not care. You could see it from a mile off, and it weren't just in certain phases of play. You could see it for the full 90 minutes, or for how long he was on. Sorry, I should say. He couldn't give a toss, and it's a shame to see, because Arsenal, unfortunately, now what they've done is they've handcuffed themselves to this front three. I mean, obviously, I know we'll chat about another player that could possibly come in, and he's on your headline. Yep. I won't fast track that. We'll get into that. I know, but yeah. It's sort of madness, that we've it's almost a prison sentence, isn't it? That we've allowed ourselves to get to have these front three. And let me pose this question as well to you boys and to the chat. Would this front three, and let's just say the front three of Raheem Sterling on the left, Trossard up top, and Ethan Ranieri, fair dues to the boy, by the way, fair dues to him.
We'll talk about him.
Would any of that front three even get into the top half in this Premier League? What about the top 15? Like, I went through it the other day and I was sitting there thinking, this is one of the worst front threes in the league. Bless Ethan Ranieri, you've got to give him his little due there. Do you know what I mean? But when you're sort of looking at everyone else's, you're thinking, man, this ain't good. And then you're scouring over Europe and you're thinking, wow, this is poor international level. This is terrible.
Right. What does it say about our club, Aaron, when our 17-year-old is our best player? What does that say about the club overall?
Yeah. There's two of them now. There's two of them.
Right. Lewis Skelly, two 17-year-olds that are phenomenal players. Do we want Arteta to, do we want Arteta to be the one to develop these guys? Fuck no.
No way.
And that's the thing. They're the best players right now, currently, in the overall squad. So what does that say about the 30 players that he's bought?
Yeah. Can I just say this? Because I do this quite a lot, This is how embarrassing this is, right? So there's two positions that Arteta's had, and he spent between £200 and £250 million on it, and they were the two positions that were fixed in the first place 5 years ago, and that's left back and the goalkeeper. And by that I mean Tierney and I mean Martinez. Since then, he spent 80-90 million on two goalkeepers that ain't as good. I like Raya, but he's not as good as Martinez. And then you go to the left back and you see this disaster. And I won't name all of the ones that he's played there, but just the last couple years. So we've signed Zinchenko because Tierney was injury prone as well. But Zinchenko for 35 million is always injuries. He's already injury prone himself. So then we think, all right, we'll spend 40 million on Calafiori, who's already injury prone. Now all three of them are bloody fit, and we've got a central midfielder, a 17-year-old lad playing at left back over all three of them. It's absolute madness. So there's 120 million quid's worth of talent there, and we've got a centre mid there who's having his breakthrough season, and he's not even a left back, and he's beating all of them. It's madness, mate. The amount of money, like the point you was just saying, Dal, the amount of money wasted. That's nearly, there's over 200 million quid just in them two positions, and they're worse over half a decade. I mean, just let it run through your heads. It's bonkers, mate. Absolute bonkers.
Right.
And then you go further up the field and wasting another 100 million on Kai Havertz and Vieira. Vieira, 2 years, didn't leave a mark in the snow. And then where's he gone? Gone back to the same club for a year. I mean, it's madness, isn't it? When you start
and we're gonna take a bath on that one too. By the way, we are his value
100.
has dropped by at least 50%. I would be shocked if we got rid of him for more than 15 million.
Yeah,
I'm not even no fucking word of a lie because he went to Porto, and the people that watch Porto have told me he sucks there too.
Yeah.
So it's like, what are we doing? What is the recruitment doing here? And Dal, you brought up a perfect point. Like, what does it say about our brass's ability to identify talent when our Hail In boys are the only ones keeping us in the title race, which I don't believe that there is a title race. I just think we're going through an exercise until May. Like I'm being really honest with you. I really feel like we're just Liverpool have been shit, but they still get the points. Like it doesn't really matter. Like you watched that Wolves game. You watched that Wolves game this morning. They almost let Wolves in. The problem is Wolves suck. Right. So Liverpool, I just don't see where they drop points until they're playing Big Six clubs. I really don't see where they drop points.
They have a horrible schedule. I think I read coming up. They've got to face Villa, Newcastle, and City away. I think.
The way that fucking Newcastle looked against City, like why?
Well, Newcastle were away at City, right? They're much better at home. We know that for a fact. So
to be fair, they've got. I don't want to get
and I don't want to get too far. I don't want to get too far off topic, but I just want to let the chat know and big up the chat, smash the likes.
Big up everyone here.
This is not. Sometimes I feel like I have to do a public service announcement for this channel, so people don't know that we're the happy clappers. We know that this season is over. 7 points is insurmountable with the Liverpool team that we have going on there and with this front three and these injuries. Like it's just not going to happen. We will drop points. And that's why I want to kind of tell everybody to calm down. Let's talk about Mikel Merino. Let's talk about Ethan Nwaneri, because they were the only reasons they won the game. As soon as Merino came on, we looked 1,000 times better going forward. And I cannot believe I'm saying that, because that's our 6 that we're playing in a 9. Yeah. Like he unlocked, like Trossard woke up when Merino came on, and I was like yelling at the TV, being like, "Why the fuck is Trossard still on the pitch?" Right. Like I didn't get it, because he was having an absolute howler. And then
you know why he woke up? Because he got put back on the left-hand side.
Yeah. No, exactly right. Yeah. Exactly right. So stop playing him on the right, play him on the left, play Ethan Nwaneri on the right. Ethan Nwaneri, man of the match. This guy was a foot away, not even a foot away, an inch away from 2 goals. Hit the bar twice from impossible angles. This kid is a baller. Yeah. And I hate to keep like waving my accomplishments and my calls in everybody's face, but I called this. I said he needs serious minutes, and I got laughed at saying, "No, there's no way he's going to get any minutes. He's just too young. He's too young. If that's too young, I'm ancient. I'm too fucking old." He's incredible.
Yeah, right.
This kid is the only reason, like, Mikel Arteta should be writing this guy thank you notes after every match, because he's making him look like a fucking genius. And I'm just, I'm just so impressed with this guy. The poise, like, what are we going to do with him when Bukayo Saka comes back? Now, that's the big question. Like, you cannot sit this guy on the bench with the rest of what we have in the squad. Like, I hope he can play on the left. Like, that's literally what I'm saying, because you're forcing Mikel Arteta to make a decision. Either you bring Odegaard out, or you bring Trossard and Martinelli out, and you put Ethan Nwaneri on the left. Period. Yeah. End of story.
Right.
Do you know what I would do here? Oh, go on. Sorry, Dale. Go on. I knew he was going to
Oh,
go,
no,
mate.
go ahead. Go ahead.
What I think what I would sort of do is you were quite right in saying about bringing Odegaard out. That's what I would actually do. And I'd also do a formation change. And at that, I'd go back to a 4-2-3-1 purely because Thomas Partey and Declan Rice would both work in that pivot there rather than having Rice on that left-hand side. I don't care what anyone says. He's not good enough as a footballer to be a left-handed 8 if you're going to play him as attacking. He just ain't. He's good at what he does, and that's sitting back as a number 6. You can tell because he played at centre-back for most of his career, especially coming through, from Chelsea and West Ham. But the point I'm sort of going to say is, if you have them two there, I think that solves that base nicely, albeit, okay, Partey's probably going to go. And then you have the Rice, then you have Saka there of right-hand side. Then you maybe have Martinelli when he's fit. And I'd have Nathan Nwaneri banging that centre there because Odegaard, I like him as a footballer. He knits things through okay, but he's not scoring any goals. And he's not even anywhere near the goal, by the way. By shooting there. Some of his shooting has been regressed so bad. It's if you actually watch his last 20, 30 shots, the vast majority of them are pathetic. Like really, really bad. Hello, mate. And then, he's not really assisting any. You look at his stats this season, he's got 4 or 5 GA in the Premier League. It's pathetic. I know he's had a bit of time off, but what I expected from Odegaard when Saka was gone, I'm like, right, you are apparently the second best player in this team, yeah? And people would probably say there or thereabouts. Some have even called him world-class, which I don't agree with. He's not world-class, Odegaard. But when you're looking at your best player out, you're thinking, right, I'll tell you what, Odegaard, now is your chance, boy. You are the captain. Step up and take control of this team because they need a leader badly because Saka is the only person in this team who's a match winner. He's the only player. Now's your opportunity, Odegaard. Go. And what do we see? We've seen nothing from him. He's not stepped up. He's not showing as a captain. He's not grabbing any games by the scruff of the neck. None of it. And
he not to interrupt you, but he's not beating the charges that everybody's accusing him of he can't play without Saka. Like that's the big problem is that you see a completely different player if he doesn't. Dal says this all the time, and I like quoting him. He says if he doesn't have that space, he dies. He doesn't make good decisions with the ball.
Room to move.
He needs room to move, and I just think look and big up Ethan Nwaneri, but he can't do everything. He doesn't give the space that Bukayo Saka does, and that will come with time. And I don't like. Do we really see Nwaneri playing on the right wing for forever? No, because Bukayo Saka is going to come back. I just think. Go ahead.
I agree with Aaron. The 4-2-3-1 would have been perfect because you could put Nwaneri in the 10. You could put Odegaard on the right in a 4-2-3-1. Right, you can put Odegaard in the right and have him drift in the middle with his left foot. Right, if he's on the right side with his left foot, he can get some of those balls up in the air. And who you put on the left, if it's Trossard or Sterling, either one left or up front. But like Aaron said, Nwaneri in the 4-2-3-1 is the 10 would have been much more problems for them than having them out wide. Cut in, which is what which all I think other clubs know, other teams know. We do that with Saka all the time. So why would we not do that with Nwaneri? Like I said, you could put Odegaard on that right. I think there would have been something there to Odegaard on the right side.
Yeah, I think Aaron, and I think Aaron is spot on. Like, and I want to get Connor's take on this too. Big up, Connor. I like Aaron. I think you're spot on with the double pivot 6.
Yes.
Declan Rice is a mediocre 8, but he is a fantastic stay-at-home 6. Like people, and that's why the ops are always calling us saying we have like 6 center backs out there because Declan Rice is so sound defensively. Like you do not hear his name saying, "Oh, making a howler." Like I still think he's been our most consistent player this season, and it goes the amount of disrespect that he gets is over the top. And like I just think again we have some serious conversations to have over the summer about where people are going to fall into positions and what our shopping list is for the transfer window. But Connor, big up, man. How are you doing, man?
Big up, right?
Yeah, I'm all good. I thought, you know what? I'll hop on for a bit. Why not?
There we go.
Today. So I thought, let me
big
go,
up Omar as
rant
well.
some more while you guys are ranting. I'll join on the ranting as well. Big up to Aaron as well. First time talking to you, so big up to you, bro. Hope you're well. Yeah. What are we talking about here? Odegaard.
Yeah, well, we're talking about everything. I feel like
my favorite topic, man. You know, my absolute favorite. He's a topic that gets people rattled. So it's I love talking about him. No, I still stick to my point of view. You know, I think he is still inconsistent God. You know, and I stick to that. I'm not gonna just bounce off that. You know, I've had conversations with people. Listen, don't get me wrong. I'm not here to sit and completely slander Odegaard because there is a player there. I don't think he's completely useless like some other players in this league in the midfield area. But at the end of the day, you're the captain of the football club. You didn't have to accept that. By the way, you didn't have to say, "Yeah, I'll take the armband." He said, "Listen, if that was me getting given the armband, I'd most likely say yes." But it is that situation of you did put yourself in that situation by allowing yourself to be the captain. So there's going to be more pressure on your head. And I saw a comment as well recently, which I completely agree with. I don't know if it was on this stream or somewhere else. That you got to remember, people put into perspective about, oh, but look at the chances created. Look at this, like he's not going to have this much chance created every game. And it's like you got to put into perspective. Odegaard is an attacker. That's the role he plays. He's got to also play a part at getting goals and assists. All season, he's got 3 assists. And I know he was injured as well. Don't get me wrong. But he's played, is it 16 games so far in the league this season?
I mean, he's been back since November.
And three assists. Like, it's like, come on, man, do me a favor. But people bypass him because he's the captain, because he's nice, because he gets the crowd raring. People bypass it. This is the problem with. Listen, don't get me wrong. I love the players. Listen, I don't have a physical problem with Odegaard. Like, I don't actually hate him as a person. I'm critiquing his footballing ability here. But like, some people seem to get really personal with some of these players, like their family. It's weird. It's like
it's a cult.
You do realize we can criticize these players, whether they're the captain, whether they're a legend at the club, whether they're players like Bukayo Saka, who are absolutely fantastic for Arsenal. These players still can be criticized, and you can't look into the factor of that. Odegaard is so inconsistent, and as a leader, as a captain, is what he is, and as one of the meant to be one of the best players at the club, you do not see Odegaard turn up for the big games, and that is a pure fact. And when I mean big games, I mean Premier League winning games, Champions League winning next round, semi-final, quarter-final games, Carabao Cup semi-finals. 1 chance created in both legs for that, by the way. Oh, but let's look at his chances created. I think the problem is, but this is the whole thing with, I think Arteta's completely fucked it. I do think Odegaard should be put in an 8 and we go and get a 10. But what the fuck was Mikel Merino then? Because why have we gone ahead and bought Merino if people are now telling me that Odegaard's an 8, not a 10? So what was this all about then, the whole Mikel Merino signing? I don't understand that. Yeah,
he's a striker now. He's our striker now.
Well, that's another thing that makes me laugh. This is now us adapting. This is us. We adapted. It took us 80 minutes to adapt against the worst defense in the league, gentlemen, on Saturday. But that's us adapting. We're doing well here. I can't wait to see how we adapt in these next 4 or 5 games when we've got was it Forest coming up? We got
Old Trafford coming up this weekend. Right?
Chelsea might be at home, could probably beat them. But I will be interested to see how we adapt. I saw you guys were mentioning Sterling at the start of the stream. Fucking hell. Like, really? Like,
if he even sniffs the pitch on Saturday, I'm gonna lose it. I'm gonna lose it. Generational shout out to generational stinker and hooked.
Let me ask you a question, Connor. Since you're the youngest cat in here, what do you think of the rest of the squad when our 2 17-year-olds are the best?
This is nothing new. Honestly, Dow. Back when Saka first made his start for Arsenal, this was the exact same conversation we were having when Saka was the only one practically on the pitch, showing a bit of care. And it's the exact. Listen, don't get me wrong. I think the one thing I do like about Arsenal at the moment is our defense. Listen, there have been times this season where we have slipped, but our defense is very solid. That's one thing I do like about it. But from midfield onwards, when we're rotating and we've got what we've got, it's so inconsistent. And the fact, to answer your question, Dow, Wanyeri, phenomenal again. Like, I swear to God, I said this to Sard on his show on half time on Saturday. You could put Van Dijk, Rudiger, anyone in front of him, he will take them on. He doesn't give a shit. He has the fire, he has the determination, the confidence. He's ready to just go. And the fact that he is always looking for a chance to have a shot on goal. It just screams levels. Odegaard doesn't do that. Martinelli doesn't do that at times. He's always looking down at the ball. Trossard finds it hard at times. Don't get me started about the German giraffe. It takes him about 50 million touches just to even get it in the back of the net.
We don't score with him up top, by the way, on this weekend. We don't score with him. Sorry.
Yeah,
the proof
that's
in
another
that
thing
is.
as well.
Oh, sorry, go on, mate.
No. I was going to say, like, it's chalk and cheese. But it's because and it's the truth. Oh, Connor, you're just not true.
Connor, you're so negative.
The kids know what it means. They know what it means to play for the badge. Why do you think, I don't like to put it down to the fact that's why Saka's so good, but I'm not going to take the piss here. Saka knows more of what it means to play for Arsenal than say what Kai Havertz does or Martin Odegaard does.
I don't think anybody. I think he knows more than anybody else on the squad, other than probably Kieran Tierney.
Yeah, no, I mean, listen, yeah, I know, I agree. And it just shows that the kids give a shit more. Yeah. And honestly, Wanyeri is a little bit of light in this dark spell we're having, or long dark spell that we've been having for the last 5 years. It's just, a little bit of brightness showing, and it's just a shame that it's going to be wasted on nothing because we're not going to win anything this season. So it's just, negative. That's all I am,
Yeah, I'm going to leave the group chat. I'm going to leave the group chat. You're so negative.
I'm so negative.
I think I might have to go. Yeah, it's one show I was expecting people, by the way.
Yeah, no, I've had a couple of conversations this weekend with people who have actually left group chats because I'm so negative. But it is. But do you know what it is? We know what's going to happen. None of us are living in cloud cuckoo land. There's not going to be an Anfield 89. There's not this season. There's not going to be a mad Champions League win. We know the story of what's going to happen this season. We're going to come second or third. Maybe Forest might catch us up. We don't know what's going to happen at their ground in a couple of weeks. We could lose. That means they could be on level points of us if things still go the way they are.
Yep.
Champions League. Let's keep it all well and real. We may get past the round of 16, but we're not going to probably get past the quarterfinal like we did last season. So we know what's going to happen. But people live on this copium of this. Oh, we're going to still do this. There's still a season to play. Like, wake up, man. We have a depleted squad for one. We couldn't do it last season with practically a fully fit squad. What are you expecting now? Like magic? Yeah. What's going on here? So,
You know what? The thing is with the Champions League as well, is you're absolutely right. You could get to the round for the last 16, then to the last 8 or whatever. But the problem that we've got is when we face a good team, let's just say it's a Real Madrid or it's a Barcelona or whatever. The problem isn't like us trying to nullify their attack. Let's just say, Saliba and Gabriel have a great defensive game over 2 legs against, your Mbappes, your Vinicius Juniors. You're pretty much, you wouldn't be surprised if they kept them at bay. We've seen Mbappe be absolutely pocketed by Saliba before, albeit in a Marseille shirt. But the point I'm sort of saying is the problem we've got about not winning the Champions League is when we get that opportunity, let's just say we've had a defensive masterclass over 2 legs and we get that one opportunity. Do you trust Sterling to put it away? Do you trust Trossard to put it away?
None of them.
No,
you don't, and that's the real problem, and that's why we will not win that Champions League purely because defensively, I think we could get through some games, but when it comes to winning them, that one opportunity that you might get over 180 minutes of football, you're going to be found wanting people.
Aaron, you just took me back to Bernabeu. Henry 1-0. What player do we have is capable of doing that? Maybe Saka. Wanyeri, okay, yes, but is Wanyeri going to play against Real Madrid in the last final 8 or Elite 8 or whatever? No, right. Wanyeri will not play against a Madrid, Bayern Munich, or a PSG because Arteta will think in his own head that he's not ready. Yeah, right. And so those moments, and plus that moment with Henry at Real Madrid again exemplifies leadership. I'm going to get the ball. I'm going to score, and there ain't a fucking thing that Madrid is going to do about it. And that's the attitude that he had. If you go back and watch that, was one of the best goals and one of my favorite goals of all time Arsenal. He literally ran the whole half of the pitch at the Bernabeu to get the win. We don't have that sort of blood in the squad. There's no leadership.
Do you know who showed?
The system doesn't allow for it either. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, I don't think he'd do it. But the point I'm trying to make with Wanyeri is like he would make that run. He might not score it. He might not be. He's not Henry. I'm not trying to say Wanyeri's Henry, but look what he's doing. Like literally, he was the only one trying to make that Leicester defense look frightened. We were all just passing it around, like creating nothing. And this guy was doing it all on his own. Like seriously, it's just. Blows my mind how much a 17-year-old has to show what it means to play for this club. People still, and you know what? This is going to sound like I'm the most negative fucker in the world.
But I'm kicking you out of here.
I don't mean to be, but I'm a bit pissed off that Merino scored those 2 goals because That
And
paper's
over the cracks now.
Yes, exactly.
Real fans were upset about it. I mean, it's great to get the 3 points, like I was saying in our chat.
Listen, it's all well and good.
Havertz does not bury those. The four of us, I think everyone in the chat knows, when the time comes, Havertz would bury those. So big up Merino. I mean, they were great goals. They really
incredible goals.
Can I add on to that?
Incredible
Yeah,
assist from Trossard and Winieri, though. By the way, keep going. Go ahead, Aaron.
Yeah,
go ahead, Aaron.
I've got to add on to that as well, and this to add on to the facts that Darren's just talking. Then there, Darren, right? We know that Kai Havertz wouldn't have scored them. Do you know why? Because if we probably would have done at least a little bit better in the Carabao Cup. We'd have still be in the FA Cup, and we'd probably be 4 points closer to Liverpool if Kai Havertz could finish chances like that. Let's just get it right. Let's just get it right. We've seen him miss absolute chance after chance after chance. And we're not talking about, all 50-50s or he's through on goal, whatever. We're talking about like 5 yards out sitters.
He scored 15 goals, Aaron. He scored 15 goals this season, so it's all right. It's all right.
What they've done for us, isn't it?
Exactly.
That's the
Thank
point.
you. And you know, that's the exact same thing I say. That's the exact same thing I say with the whole 90+ goals last season. It's the most goals ever scored by an Arsenal squad. We're all well and good. Did that win us the league title? Did that win us any form of trophy? No.
Do you know what? Cares? Yeah. When we played Manchester City, I was obviously at the game, and Havertz missed that. Do you remember that second chance where he absolutely scrapes it, where he's virtually it's just almost a tap-in? I was going absolutely mad, and people around me, I mean, they're quite used to it now anyway. But the point that I was sort of making to people as to why I'm getting so mad is because they were like, at the end, I'm getting people behind that from going, see, so he scored. I was like, yeah, but he scored the fourth goal. What about the second goal to kill Man City off? Well, not to kill them off, but, to put that nice little bracket.
Exactly.
It's all well and good scoring your fourth goals and assisting for the fifth goal, but what about the second one or the first one? They're the real important goals in football matches. And he's found wanting for the vast majority of the time when we need them, when them clutch moments are happening. He's like, well, I'll score one. If we go 4-0 up, I'll score the fifth. Don't worry about that.
Exactly. And that is perfect reason for why Havertz is no use to us in a final, semi-final. When the pressure's off him, look at that. The goal he scored was fucking fantastic. It was great. But he wouldn't have done that for the second goal. He had to pass it, or the first goal even. Confidence was shot. It wasn't there. And people tell me, but he had his confidence back with the fourth one. It's just like, well, imagine if we didn't score 5 that day and we had to score the second to win the game. It's like, it's these scenarios. And all of this is papering over cracks. It is what it is, isn't it? But then people go, Connor, you hate winning. Yeah, it's like it's just the case of the situation we're in. It's just we're not going to win anything. So it's just a factor of it's papering over the fact that we're not going to win anything again this season. I'm really not looking forward to it, but I'm interested to hear what the excuses will be come the end of the season. The injuries, the
injuries. Their injuries are it. You're already hearing the TGs, the top goons out there, and I mean goons because they are absolute goons. They're idiots. They're already saying give Arteta another year because he had so many injuries. A lot of these injuries were on him. What
did the gal say again? He said this season. What did he fucking say? The injuries are
the injuries are a blessing in disguise because without these injuries, you wouldn't.
And I just thought. Fuck
I called him out on that. Immediately. Me and him had a conversation.
This is literally what we've got to work with.
And here's the thing: is these are the biggest channels, and people are going to listen to them, and Arsenal's going to listen to them, and we're not going to bring anybody in over the summer. You know who needs to bring people in over the summer? Manchester United. Hold that, sunshine! Oh my days!
A train wreck.
You guys are garbage.
Yeah, that's so bad.
And I can't wait for Amarim to be sacked and the dumpster fire just to explode. You guys are done. Oh my God, that actually made my day watching United lose today. And I don't like talking positively about Tottenham, but that was just such a mid. That was such a mid off. It was unbelievable. Big up James Maddison for that goal. Great goal.
Yeah, that was a decent goal.
Yeah. Anyway, we're in the bin together. Yes, you are.
We're in the second place bin, though. Not the relegation bin.
Yeah, that's just so bad. I just wish, I wish the bottom, like the championship teams that came up had just a little bit more quality because then they would seriously be in the mud. Like who was the last team to stay up from the championship? Forest?
For a second season.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Forest,
yeah,
like lately.
be Forest, yeah.
Forest,
think.
yeah. If they had a quality like Forest, then United and Spurs would seriously be in a relegation battle. But because Ipswich are so shit, Leicester is so shit, Southampton is the worst Premier League team ever.
They
Oh no,
were
Sheffield-
Who are you worse? Are they worse
United
than
are
that
up there,
Derby
man.
team? Are they
Nah,
worse than that
Derby
Derby team?
County. Derby
Are they
County. Yeah,
worse
that's
than
it. Yeah.
It's got to be Derby. Southampton got to be there. That Sheffield team was shit.
Yeah,
They
Sheffield
were
team
awful.
last season was awful.
No, I
Derby,
don't think was it
Derby
last
11
season.
points.
No, there was one season. No, it was last season. That was the one.
Last
yeah,
season they were
Sunderland-
fucking brutal.
104 goals
Sunderland,
conceded.
Yeah, 11 points.
The year Sunderland got relegated, they were terrible. I think
Yeah.
that was like 2008, 2009, maybe somewhere in there.
Yeah, we've had some bad teams.
Speaking of Man United, real quick, this is a spiral of shit, and I'm not trying to be, Mr. Rival here. This is an institution that is falling down rapidly, right? This is one of the biggest sporting organizations in the world. They were up there with the Yankees at one time, right?
Yeah.
This is a train wreck of monumental proportions, and to be honest, it's not good for the league either, right? Think of the fan base that United has and the money they pour into the league and so forth. So if they get relegated, oh please, by the grace of God, please get relegated. I think there would be some adverse effect, right? You would maybe not that adverse, but it would definitely be a tsunami in the football world, right? To be honest, but it would be well deserved. It'd be very well deserved.
Yeah, it would be like a championship final playoffs next season for promotion. Tottenham and Man United. That'd be
This is what we could have called this, and a lot of us did when they were talking about Ineos coming in and Sir Jim. This is why a lot of people weren't excited, because you see what he's done with the teams in the Swiss league that he's absolutely capitulated. And then who does he? Nice is one of the worst teams in the French league, and he owns them too. Like, he's just running teams into the ground, and people are surprised by this and how bad it is. Like, I think it gets worse. And I think it gets worse because I think they fire Amorim before the end of the season. I think
they couldn't do that.
I bet you. I'm willing to bet.
That is suicide if they do that.
Dude, he's taken them from 13th to 14th. And he refuses to change his system. People in the top brass are going to look at that and be like, "You're not playing to the profile of the player."
But look at the players. Look at the players and the injuries as well.
Did you all you need to do is watch their performance today. They were absolutely shit. Bruno Fernandes, I swear to God, that was probably one of the worst performances I've seen out of him. And there's been a catalog of them.
Do you know what?
They're fucking brutal.
Do you know what it is with Fernandes as well? If he's not world class or exceptional, he's absolute toilet, isn't he? Like, he's never in between, is he? He's either absolute dog shit or wicked.
Yeah.
Like, you can't have that. Look, you've got to have a consistent. Like, you'd rather have a player that's going to be a consistent 7 or 8 over the course of 38 games rather than having 10 out of 10 performances and 20 2 out of 10.
Let me ask you guys this: who's worse? I mean, when you think of Fernandes, obviously you think of someone who does have the will to win. So then,
if you're saying Fernandes or Odegaard, it's Fernandes.
I was going to say yes. Who is worse, Fernandes or Odegaard? Right? Because Fernandes at least pushes that team forward. Fernandes
looks like more of a leader.
If he has to. What's that?
Fernandes looks more like a leader than Odegaard.
He's such a rat. I can't fucking stand him.
He is a rat. He is a rat, though. However, I would take his shitty penalties over Odegaard. I would say that.
Yeah, I think that's.
Are you saying you would take Fernandes over Odegaard?
It's a tough question.
You are taking way too long to answer that question.
TJ, do you know what it is? If Odegaard played the way he can play, which when Odegaard, I swear to God, when Odegaard decides to have a good day, he's so good. If he'd done that on a regular basis, none of us would be having this conversation. Oh shit, Fernandes is in the runs. That's an easy one to weigh out, but I'd rather have honestly neither if we had the choice.
Yeah, no, I think it's look. I know I'm being super negative on here all the time, and I say shit that people don't like. Odegaard is 10 times the footballer that Bruno Fernandes is in that midfield. I'm sorry. Like, Fernandes has his moments, but like he is like his performance against Liverpool earlier in the season when they drew, he was fan-fucking-tastic. He was
That was a good one.
fantastic. But outside of that, he's been shit for most of the season.
Also, I
can't do
bet
it.
Chelsea fans are praying to the gods they didn't sign Garnacho. Did you see that miss today from him? Did you
Dude,
not? The
it's
Rose
just another one.
miss. And
Yeah.
Hoyland as well. 70 million.
Hoyland
He
is the worst striker
shocking.
I've got the
Absolutely.
highlights on to the
Mikel
left of me.
Merino.
I'll watch
Mikel
it.
Moreno came on for 20 minutes and now
He's got
has
the
more
same
goals.
amount of
Oh,
goals
here
as
it is
him.
now. The
Yeah,
miss. Funny enough, you just say that. It just plays that
It
over the
was
bar. Yeah,
awful.
literally just come on the telly.
Literally,
Embarrassing.
it's a tap in into the goal. He sends it Rose Ed, and it's just like CR6 over here ain't doing the job, is he? And yes, I mean, there's so much dross in that whole United team. They can't be doing a Chelsea where they spend money and they think they can redo a squad. They have to do technically what Arsenal have done, but maybe actually win a trophy quicker than us. They need a 5 to 6 year whole rebuild because that squad is just shit. They need a full on rebuild with a manager that they can trust to rebuild that whole squad. Maybe someone with a bit more experience than Amorim, I don't know, but I think Amorim's all right. I think if he had the right players, his system could work. The shit that he's got to work with, with one win, he's only had one window. I think he needs more time. But the shit they've got in that squad, man, it's so bad. And listen, in my opinion, United just need a whole 5 to 6 year tear up and just tear that whole squad to pieces. Keep some of the all right players and just ship them all the shit ones off and try rebuild something. Because
the only problem with that, though, man, is we've just seen our manager have 11 transfer windows over half a decade, and look at the state of it at the minute. And this is actually tells me onto a point that I wanted to add on to what Dal was making again. Everyone's been making some fantastic points this evening, but this one was about transfers, and squad building, and particularly in this summer. Now, we've signed 32 players, and for me personally, everyone's going to have their little bit of difference. I think we've only got about 5 decent ones, maybe 6 if you wanted to push the boat out. But statistically, that's not very good, 6 and 32. No. So I think we need about 10 players, but realistically, you're probably not going to sign 10 players in one window in the summer. I think realistically, you could go for about 6. But according to my logic and math, that means that we're only going to get one good signing at them 6 because it's worrying. And that's sort of where I'm going to lead to as well, is I don't really trust this manager with another window. It's not good enough. Like, I'm sitting there thinking we need a right winger, we need a left winger, we need a striker. Easily we're going to have to replace Thomas Partey. We need a left 8. We need a right-sided centre-back because for some reason Saliba's injury completely cost us the league 2 years ago and he still ain't even addressed that position. We probably need another left-back. For some strange reason, he'll probably sign one. We need a backup goalkeeper. There's a lot we need to do. But the problem is do you trust, if we were going to get 6 players, do you trust us to get even 3 of them?
No.
You don't.
No.
Exactly.
Because Aaron, and I think you were getting to this point, and I'm really glad you brought this up, man. See, this is why Aaron is such an A+ guest, because he plays host too. So like I don't have to come up with all the shit. No, you literally the market so the excuse that we heard that over the winter transfer window was the market was bad. Okay, that's fine. I understand that, and I don't necessarily disagree with it. Like the Ollie Watkins fiasco, we don't even need to get into it, but the fact that we're talking but here's my point, is that the market is going to be just as bad this summer because it's going to be crowded. Everybody is going to be buying. Man United are going to be buying. Spurs will be buying.
Madrid, Barcelona.
Yeah, Madrid, Barcelona.
Madrid get a whole new defensive line.
Yeah. Man City will go into the market again because they'll finish up.
They're in the middle of a rebuild right now.
They're going to go out there and do that. And look. And Man City, how many mistakes does Man City make?
None.
None. Marmouche, how's
look at what they've got to
first
take
half hat trick.
This is what happens. Yeah. This is like, look at what they done after what's his name left. What was the guy that was there before Pep?
Aguero. Oh, sorry, the manager.
But we're gonna get Sesko, Judge. Don't worry. Sorry, go ahead.
I completely forgot the name. So it's on top.
But
it's look at the difference in plan. Like we aimed to have a young manager. That was the plan. I mean, but I don't want to listen. I'm not one to just sit here and be negative. All 24 hours of every day. I do pick positives as well. Listen. We are in a better state than where we were 5 years ago in terms of squad, 100%. There's still places that need to be obviously improved on. But I said that this is how I think Arteta is. I don't know about you guys over in America, but say for example, you have a teacher that teaches you throughout the whole year. At some point, whenever you're younger, they leave for maternity leave. So then you get like a really shit assistant that like kind of holds the class up for the next about year, which is what Arteta is. And then he steadies the boat. He kind of keeps you on a path which isn't success. And then when your exams are coming, i.e. trophies, then you get the teacher back, and then that teacher takes you up to the exams and gets you to pass them. That's what we need. I think Arteta, in the sense of, I think he steadied the boat, but he's not the guy to win you the major. You need someone with fucking experience and just proper mentality to come in and take us over the top, because we do have quality players. We're not riddled with shit. We do have shit, but we're not riddled with it. We have quality in this team. And I think we need a new system. I think this system's getting boring and old. I think the players are getting bored of it as well.
Yep.
I think we need a massive shake up in this system because it's shit. I think we need a new body in charge, taking care of things, maybe bringing in a couple of new signings as well. I just think, because with what Arteta said last season, at the end of the season, which I actually really respected him saying, don't think this is good enough, blah, blah, blah. And I mean, he's fucked it this season because we're not going to win anything again this season. But, him saying, coming out on the pitch and saying, listen, don't think that this is acceptable. This isn't what we should be doing. So I like to think that he's got a bit of respect for himself. And of course he has respect for the club as well. I'm not here saying that Arteta's going to sabotage Arsenal. He loves the club. I know he does. He's the former captain. But I think if he looks at this season and he walks out of this season with no trophies again, and he finishes second or third in the league, I really do have to think about his logic of how he thinks in his head. Yeah, I've done a good job. Let me stay here for another year. Maybe it's the money. I don't know. But how can you look at the club you love so much that you were the captain of? You've done an all right job by rebuilding the squad. You haven't won trophies. So in that position, you really fucked it. We've won the FA Cup, obviously. Well done. I honestly couldn't really care about that anymore, in all honesty. It's been that long. But you think you love the club. Let me hand this mantle to someone else who could maybe get this squad over the line, because I want to see the squad succeed. And maybe I'm not ready yet. I'm still quite young. If that's how I'd be thinking if I was him. But I think he'll still be here next season.
Well, that's a good
Can I
point.
mention? Sorry, you go down.
Oh, real quick, two things. Like, one thing about the transfer window is that, we couldn't find the right profile player. I'll be damned if that's not the same lines Arsene Wenger used year in and year out. When one season we brought in Peter fucking Cech, and then the next window we brought in no one. Right? He used the same lines. The right profile of player. Right? Bullshit. Yeah. They know the right profile of players. And the same thing they said about Ollie Watkins. Well, it's a player we've admired. Then go fucking buy him.
Yeah.
We need 2 strikers. We need 2, not 1. 2. Kai Havertz is not a striker. But then again, if we get that striker, that puts Kai Havertz in left mid, right? So it's a double-edged sword that he's created. My second point, I forgot it now. But anyway, it's the same script. It's the same script, right? It's the same script we've been getting. Arteta's just continuing on the Wenger script that he left with, right? And in some ways, I wanted him out because I just thought the game outgrown him a bit, right? He wasn't making the best selections of players at times. But right now, Wenger could get a tune out of this squad today, I think, in many ways. I'm not going to dive into that because that's an hour and a half, 2-hour show. But the fact of the matter is, I can't believe my second point. It was to bounce off of what Connor said. But my main point is, my second point is, I remember now. Not one player is going to fix this, right? Sesko's not going to fix it. Gyökeres isn't going to fix it. I think there's problems, again, that run a little bit deeper, like Connor said, in the system. It has to be a change of the system. When you get someone like Gyökeres in and you do the same system, you're basically expecting him to do it all and to be this piece of the system that he's brand new to understanding, right? So we get Gyökeres. We're not going to win a trophy his first season. It may take 2 or 3 years, right, to get him up and going because he's still somewhat of a young striker. If we get Sesko, it ain't going to be like he's scoring goals all of a sudden. And this is where I think the split fan base has this fantasy that if we get this star player in, so to speak, 100 million striker in, that our fortunes are going to just change. Odegaard will still play the same. He will make
We'll
the
still
same
play
mistake.
the same. Do you know what it'll be, Dow? Do you know what? Do you know what the
And
funniest thing will be?
that's the
You
thing,
know,
Connor, real quick, Connor, like just like this 1 or 2 player solution isn't going to work. We need a 4, 5, 6 player rebuild. But like Aaron said, that's just not going to happen in one window. But go ahead, Connor.
Yeah. No, I was just going to say, you look at it in the sense of, I mean, you look at Merino's goals, right? It's so ironic that this was how it happened. I knew what Arteta was doing. Merino's tall. What does Arteta love doing when we're not winning games? Crossing balls into the box. That's his only tactic. When we're not winning, we did it against Newcastle. We won't win the game. All right, guys, we've got no fucking clue what to do now. Let's just cross it in the ball. What did he do for the first one? Wanyeri cross. What was the second one? Was it a Trossard cross? Who was on the left? Was it Trossard? Yeah, Trossard cross.
Yeah,
bang,
Trossard.
tapping the net. That's all we do. And listen, yeah, we won the game from it, but it's like, that's not always going to work, as we know. The amount of times we have been in situations in games where we're not winning, and we've ended up having to just cross in balls and hit and hope. If we bring in an Isak, who I do think, I'd love to. He's my top choice. If we brought him in, I do think he'd help us massively. But the system at the end of the day is still going to be there. It's not going to be
right.
And you would need Arteta to loosen the reins up a little bit on a guy like Isak.
Course,
like Isak is such an impact player. He's not going to fit right into your system, and that's why you see Eddie Howe like. The inconsistent results at Newcastle, I think, are due to Eddie Howe allowing that just letting off the reins more than Arteta, like an Arteta or a Pep would, just because you have star players. Let them go out there and let them cook. That's why you see players like Grealish go to City and not see any time, because they don't necessarily fit right into the system in their natural positions. So it's like that's what scares me about bringing in Isak. You bring up a perfect point. Is that he falls outside of the system, Arteta's going to lose it, and he won't know what to do with it. And that scares me, because that like I understand running a system to get consistent results. When was the last time we haven't lost in the Premier League in how long?
I think 15.
Drawn a bunch. Yeah, 15 matches, which is great. But it's not going to get us over the line. It's still not good enough. And you need to allow for impact players to come in and actually make a difference. We don't have any difference makers outside of Ethan Wanyeri in this current squad.
Right.
And even when the injuries come back, right? Even when the injuries come back, you maybe add 2 or 3 more players. 2. Yeah. I know. I'll just say 2 in Bakayo.
Can I add another point as well? Yeah.
Yeah. Land it.
Cal's been teeing me up nicely all show, man. All show very, very, very nicely. So what he said as well was about this player profile. Yeah. It's an absolute cop-out when he says, about the right player profile. It's an absolute cop-out. We all probably know that he wants Alexander Isak, yeah? Next summer. That's probably his number one choice. So if that's the right player profile then why wasn't it 2 years ago when he was available for half the price? Yeah. So then is it a talent ID issue, or can you not sign the players? Or then if it isn't the right player profile 2 years ago and he hasn't really changed, then why is it the right player profile now? So let's just say if he isn't the right player profile and there's someone like Gyökeres is, like you say, why haven't you gone and got him 2 years ago? Because he's got release clause. Why haven't you gone and got him for the last? So who is your profile? Because if you're not after Gyökeres and you're not after Isak, who are you after? Sesko. Why haven't you been able to prize him away from a second tier team in Germany?
Aaron, it's the same thing as Ollie Watkins. Why did we go for Ollie Watkins in January when he was available a couple of years ago? Why now? Exact same thing with Zubimendi. Why the hell did we buy Merino, the third best midfielder from Sociedad, if Zubimendi was part of the plan? It's just like
the same squad. Make it make sense. Why do we get Odegaard and not Isak? Right? I think I can kind of think the Isak. The only thing I can think, Aaron, about the Isak thing is that okay, maybe we'll let him go. Oh, he went to Premier League. Okay, now we can see what he did in the Premier League. Now we go and get him. Right? That's the only thing I can think of. I'm sure you agree. Is the only reason why we didn't buy him, because they didn't know if he was Prem proven. But was Havertz Prem proven?
Was Thierry Henry Prem proven? Was Dennis Bergkamp Prem proven? Vieira, Lundberg, Wiltor, Kanu.
Right. And that's another
carry on, can't you? Isn't it? Like exactly. Right. Like
but people are going to be like, well, Bergkamp didn't hit the ground running. Henry didn't hit the ground running. Give him time.
It didn't take him bloody long.
It didn't take him.
long.
It didn't take him this long. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
It didn't take
So
him
with
this long.
Isak, too, guys, remember, we're going to have to pry him from Newcastle. They're the
There's no way
richest
he's
club
leaving
in the
Newcastle.
league.
If you
And
will
he
get-
has
Hold
double
on,
his wages. He will not leave. There's
Yeah.
no
Hold on a
there
minute. Let me
was
check.
no reason for it. If they keep getting fourth place and they keep getting Champions League qualification and getting in the table, the new table, and he's making $350 a week.
If they get Champions League, he'll be there next season. If they get Champions League next season, there's no way he'll leave.
I think
If they
make
don't,
Europa League, Connor, they stay.
no,
They up his wages. I think if he gets the
Still-
wages wrong, I think he stays.
no, yeah, cool. Listen, the wages will obviously play a part in it. Listen, at the end of the day, if the Conkeys are willing to splash out 100 and something mil for the likes of Calafiori, Mikel Merino, the wages of Neto, the wages of Sterling, if they're willing to do that, I'm sorry, you can have the money to put down for a strike. At the end of the day, I say this: pay the big bucks, win the big trophies. It's as simple as that. It's a harsh reality, but it's the facts. I'm sorry, it is the facts. Do I have to talk about Chelsea over the last 10, 15 years? Like, come on, man. Like, it's just simple as that. You pay the money. I'm sorry. Listen, I'm not saying fucking like you buy Isak and bang league title. I'm not saying that, but you're going to have a way higher, level of 9 up front than the two bums we have already. And they are bums either way. I don't even care if he has 15 goals. He's still a bum. And he's not even a 9 anyway. So I'm not trying to say Isak comes in, bang, we won the league. No, but we've got a well more higher chance with that caliber of player.
For sure.
Then I'm going to keep it honest and real. Sesko, who will cost less because he's younger and because he's starting off in a league where he's not predominantly well known, as in a world-class striker that what I like to think Isak is becoming into. Not yet, but he will be definitely coming into it now. And that's what I'm worried about. I have this funny suspicion that if Newcastle do say, listen, he's not for sale, fair enough. I completely understand that. He's your best player at the club. I can fucking see us going for Sesko because he's young, he's a striker, he's going to be cheaper, and he just fits Mikel Arteta's young squad. And listen, I think Sesko's a promising talent, but for the fact we're trying to win a league title, shut the fuck up with all this youngster bollocks. I am sick of it. I'm sick of the youngster bollocks. However, I would take Florian Wirtz though, and he is a youngster, but he is fantastic.
The thing is, you make a point about Chelsea. Under Abramovich, most of the time, more often than not, there's always exceptions to this rule, but most of the time they made the right signing at the right time. Arsenal have not. You take the Newcastle, and I'll say Isak. You could have got what's his name, Bruno Guimaraes. Yeah, you could have got them for about 90 million 2-3 years ago. Would have Arsenal probably had a Premier League or two if you had them in the team for the last 2 years? You'd probably say, you probably would have said, you'd probably have one of them easily, maybe even another trophy. And it's just making that right signing at the right time. Does Havertz that right signing for 65 million? No. Was Mikel Merino and Calafiori the right signings this summer? No. Was Fabio Vieira? No. What about some of the two before? We all thought he started all right. They both started all right. But was Gabriel Jesus and Zinchenko that summer with Fabio Vieira, were they the right signings in the end that got us over the line? No, because they haven't. And it's all about that more often than not. Just what I said about the 32 signings that we've made, probably only about 5 or 6 a thumbs up. This sort of tells you that, you're under like a 20% of accuracy in terms of, or a hit in terms of getting these signings right. And we're still far away. We're not a million miles away, but we're still that next level away. So what's it going to be? Do we need 6 new players that hit the ground running, or do we need 1, 2, or 3 players with a new manager? It's, I would prefer a new manager and make 3 proper signings. We need more. Look, we do need more. But, if a new manager came in and went, bang, right, here, there's Gyökeres, bang, here, there's like a Bruno Guimaraes style at the left 8, and, got yourself another winger. I'd have loved a Kvaratskhelia, but he's obviously gone. Just them 3 players, bang, and then a couple of other, little odds and sods around, like Villas or whatever. But them 3 players under a new manager, like a Carlo Ancelotti, I'm thinking we are looking proper on it this year. Buzzing, absolute banging. But Arteta next year, and he'll probably spend 250 million on 6 players, and one of them's probably going to be good. I'm going to be sat there again at the Emirates Stadium thinking, here we go again. What another season of this crap. All my time wasted, and that's the most important thing. I don't want money. I don't like. I love spending money. I hate wasting money, and it's just like my time. I value my time because it's the most expensive commodity on this planet Earth, and I hate wasting my time. And under this manager, I feel like I'm wasting my time.
True.
We
Well
are.
said.
Well, no, it's
Yeah.
well said. And
Okay.
look, at the end of the day, we're still going to have the same shopping list that we had last season and the season before that and the season before that.
It's the vendor
And
list.
the market is going to be so there's going to be so much traffic in the market. It's going to be so congested. Congested was the word I was looking for. The buys to get actual quality players in, the amount of money it's going to take is going to be astronomical. And I don't trust this manager to spend one more cent, one more pence, one more whatever currency you want to bring in players, because you know he's going to bring in somebody that's like, oh, he's an up and comer, he's under the radar, or oh, he's a fixer upper, he's going to go out there and play Captain Save-A-Ho. Like, I don't have time for this anymore. Like, and to your point, Aaron, like, we're just going to keep getting jerked around because people in this fan base will allow for this to happen and continue to happen, because it's all about vibes. It's all about the playing the Arsenal way, the Arsenal family. You know, remember when the Arsenal way was winning championships and winning trophies, and now it's just about getting top 4 and putting out awesome merch.
Right.
Like,
and competing, right. And competing, right. There's, I mean,
like, yeah, and just competing.
I mean, we're far off the 20 titles that Liverpool and United have, right? I think we have 13, if I'm not correct. So 7's not really bad, right? I mean, that's not that far off compared. However, I agree with you guys 100%. We need to bring in a manager because we need something to stable the ship first, then get the players in. And we need someone with a winning pedigree who has experience of winning trophies in big games, in big grounds, big crowds, right? And a big manager like Ancelotti won't have to spend that money because he's an attraction himself, like we saw in the chat with Gunnar ER. You know, managers bring in players. Players say, I want to play for that manager because of X, Y, and Z. Or I don't want to play for that manager because of X, Y, and Z, right? And Arteta has more negatives against him. And that's part of the reason why I think we've lost out on all these transfers, because the project is just not compelling enough for some of these top talents to say, okay, right? When they have Inter and AC Milan and maybe Madrid or Barcelona knocking on the door. And then the Saudi League is a whole other problem, because they're offering incredible money for relatively middle to good talent. I mean, Jean Duran, amazing goal he scored on the weekend. Going to Saudi is a slap in the face to the EPL, bro. It's a slap in the face to Arsenal and the big clubs, meaning that, he may be a paycheck merchant, but at the end of the day, nobody's watching those games and no one's going to remember him winning a trophy in Saudi Arabia. You know, so it's like, and when they come in with so much money, it's like, and you're 23 years old, yes, I will take the money now because I can always go to the Prem later. Essentially, like Johan Duran will probably be a Prem player after his 3 or 4 year contract is done in Saudi. And he's
go make that generational money and then come back. Like, you could probably could have said the same about Ruben Neves as well. I mean, Neves was the same kind of, not obviously different positions, but around the same age. I mean, Ruben Neves could come back to the Premier League easily.
Sure.
You know, go and make your generational money. You're going to lose a couple of years, but you're making generational money, and then you come back and you can play in the Prem again. Like, and look, like the Saudi League. You made a great point, Dal. Like, the Saudi League is gonna come in and piss in the tea for the next couple of years until they decide they want to, and they have endless amounts of money. That's the biggest problem.
Right.
These guys have to be taking a huge, huge loss on all of these, but it doesn't matter to them. All they care about is bringing in the best players and trying to outdo one another. Like, it's absolutely crazy. Yeah, and Mike, you took the words right out of my mouth. Big up, Mike. He says Saudi League will be pushing for a Champions League spot soon. They will. There are already
Right. They will. Sorry to interrupt you, TJ.
No,
some of these teams really are just 3 or 4 player teams, right?
Exactly.
They have the 3 stars. The rest are absolutely garbage.
Dog shit. Yeah, dog shit. And look, if you can let in a team from the Czech league, if you can let in a team from the Russian league, but before obviously the sanctions and all that stuff, why would you hesitate to not let in a Saudi team? Like, it's all about the money for UEFA. So if the right amount of money was put on the table,
they'll
by
get
the Saudi
fucking
league,
slapped. They'll regret signing up for the UCL. They'll get absolutely pammed if they.
Well, no,
decide to
they'll
join.
get absolutely
Normal
pammed. But who
players
doesn't get absolutely pammed? You think that deters young boys from going to the Champions League every season?
That's a great point.
You
Yeah.
made a good point earlier, guys, about the whole managers bringing good players. I mean, do you remember the season when Pogba went to United for that 100 mil fee? Like, Jose
Yes.
Mourinho was obviously at the club. He brought in Pogba. He brought in Zlatan on the free. He could persuade Zlatan to join United. And by the way, this was the United squad. We were in the Champions League that season. United were in the Europa League, and he was in the Europa League. But because it was Jose, listen, we had Wenger at the time. Yeah, fair enough. But we all knew what Wenger was like with transfers coming towards the end of his tenure. I mean, I think that season we signed Mustafi and Xhaka, which obviously was a bit underwhelming compared to what
Lucas
we wanted.
Perez and all.
And Lucas Perez, that was it. Yeah. So obviously it was underwhelming. And then they were out there signing Pogba, Zlatan, Mkhitaryan when he was on his tear up at Borussia Dortmund. So he wasn't that great for United in the end. But you see, like, the levels of Jose when Jose was at Jose, as he likes it pronounced, when he was at United. Look at the difference in caliber. So I 100% agree. I do think sometimes, maybe not all the time, but sometimes, and maybe a big amount of time, managers like determine a reputation can really determine what you bring into your club at times, So, I definitely agree with that point.
Yeah, and with that, guys, we're gonna have to close out because this ran way over what I thought it was gonna go. But of course, when you get guys like Aaron, you get guys like Connor on, it's gonna happen. But big up Aaron every single time. Arsenal X Rated. His link will be in the description, people. So go and subscribe. This guy has A+ content. Is there anything you want to plug, Aaron, before we wrap up?
I'm all right, man. I've just come on here to just have a bit of a football chat. You know what I mean? No, I'm all good, man. I've loved it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. The only thing I want to say is thank you for having me on, man. Do you know what I mean? It's all good. I've loved it, every single minute of it. I'm glad it overran. I've enjoyed it.
No, me too. Yeah, we enjoyed it, and we'll have you back very, very shortly. I think we just need to add him into the rotation, Dal. I think that's probably what just needs to happen.
Be awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Big up. Arsenal X Rated every single time. Aaron, guys, go and subscribe to him. Connor, do you have anything you need to plug?
I'm going to bed. I'm tired. that's what I'm done. That's what I'm plugging. That bed right there I'm about to be in. I'm knackered at work early in the morning. So,
thanks for hopping on, man, and thanks for all the work. Thanks for all the work you've done for the show.
No worries, brother. And I hope American Waffle goes well tonight. Hopefully,
it's gonna be a shit show. It's gonna be a shit show. It's gonna be a shit show.
But yeah, hopefully that goes well, and I look forward to the midweek because I think Villa-Liverpool could be an interesting game. Listen, I don't think we're going to win the league, but I think that could be a very interesting game, even though obviously Villa did get that draw against Ipswich. It wasn't fantastic, but Villa, you never know, could maybe pull something off. I mean, Liverpool was shit today. If you didn't,
they were fucking awful.
They were awful today. So you never know. They could go ahead and maybe drop a point or two or three even. So we'll wait and see. But big up to everyone. Been a good show. Aaron, great talking to you first time.
Yeah,
you're a real one, mate. And TJ and Dow every time, and it's been a good time.
Yeah, Dow, I'm glad you're back.
Thank you.
We're gonna start cooking again.
Yeah, for sure. No, thanks for having me on, Aaron. Thanks for being on again. Great to see you, buddy. I think it's your second time on. I think.
Yeah.
Second, somewhere there. And Connor, great to see your face again. Not a great game. Merino, my new striker, but I guess we'll do a show on Friday. TJ is normal, and
we'll do a show on Friday. We're back on Friday.
Perfect. Big up every single one of you in the chat, and great comments. And let's just keep getting those 3 points. Even if it's Mikel Merino at the double, it is what it is.
Absolutely. Yeah. Let me see who's live right now. I think Saeed is live. I'm trying to see who's live because we're gonna go. So we are gonna go live with American Waffle at
Husam's live.
Husam is live. Okay, we'll go over to Husam. The fucking
El
Ahua. Okay, yeah.
So go over there. Lee's on there. Shit, I might have to tune into that.
Oh, dude, that's gonna be blockbuster. Great. I gotta go tune into that as well. Yeah. So we're gonna redirect. We'll redirect over to. We'll redirect over to Husam. Everybody, we will be back at 2. What does that translate to?
1 a.m.
1 a.m. 1 a.m. UK time for American Waffle. We will have Sheik as our United rep. So come in and put him in the waffle cell. Again, redirecting over to Husam. Go over there. Call him a leopard in a tree merchant. Say TJ Warren TV raid. And until next time, Mikel Merino's our striker.
You don't have the answers, DJ.
Do you have the answer?
You don't have the answers.
Tony, do you have the
You
answer?
don't have the answers.
You don't have
DJ.
the answer
You
either.
don't have the answer.